Hi there, welcome to the Noah Presgrove case. Things have heated up once again and blown out of proportion. Today we take a look at a supposed event which occurred before the party Noah attended. There are claims, or there were once claims, that Carter Combs' accident, the whole mention of her phone breaking from it and getting a replacement, which countered the other claims of phones being factory reset at the party, stems back to a party itself. From what Justin Roy had said at one point, from what he was told, there seems to be a chain reaction of where information started, how it was passed on and delivered. It's come to a point where there's clusters here and there and everywhere, and it's got a little bit confusing. Now, with credit to Robbie Taylor that has done a bit of a summary and giving her response, or their response on the matter, I want to add on and look at it overall. There is some audio as well from Donna Bond, and I believe it was, it's within the public domain. If you go on Facebook, it's publicly there. Pam Feldman Garrison had shared it. I want to piece it all together today to make sense of it all and see where it stemmed back from, because there can be finger pointing and blame, but really what needs to happen is to slow everything down, whether that be checking for anomalies or just dealing with an overwhelm of information and talk and noise. It's now time to slow it down. So, welcome to anyone and everyone watching, especially those during this live premiere, regular viewers, people who still have the stamina after all this time, and of course, the people that watch in the background. Feel free to share your thoughts, live reactions in the live chat box on the right side of the screen. And at any point or time, if you have additional thoughts, theories, you'd like to add on with what you believe, and anything else in regard to the theme of partying, followed by accidents, the dangers, alcohol, how it can happen one time and then the next results in Noah's death, you just let me know everything. Comments, questions, answers, theories. Down below, leave it in the comments section and I'll take a look at that. If you would like to support my channel and the work that I do on here, there is a PayPal link in the pinned comments section to follow through. If you want to catch up on the recent videos and the last one, what I did, a very important viewpoint on Jasmine Milan's real point of view at 3:41, her selfie snap and it being mirrored. You want to see the truth behind that, because there is still a lot more depth which people haven't touched upon. I've covered it. It is available. Top right corner right now, where you see that eye symbol, if you click on it, you'll get a drop down menu box with the Noah Presgrove full playlist and the loose video attached, all in one place, all under control. So, speaking of keeping it under control, what are we going to do first of all today? We're going to take a look at a bit of a preview in regard to a couple of questions, or more so comments by people, a chain of them, read through, analyse, and then refer to Robbie's post, the meaning behind it, and then play the audio, go from there, make sense of everything, and even show a photo, documented photo of the after effects of Carter Combs' accident, and even take a look at a bit of a brief news report which actually talked about it. So it isn't something small scale, meaningless. It has been noted and documented. It's the questions of, if you're looking at it for the very first time, an event like this, did it happen during a party, after a party, before a party, or not at all? The truth will show today, and if anyone wants to add on with context, those that know, you're welcome to do so in the live chat. But I want to go for it bit by bit. This is my raw reaction, okay? First time I'm seeing this, fresh mind. Without further ado, let's begin. What you see on screen is actually from the discussion comment section of Robbie's post, but it's like being put all together. So I thought I'll just use this whilst we're here in bulk. Zoom in just a little bit here. Robbie to Pam. Brenda actually pointed out to me, Justin Roy does say it as a fact. Look at the highlighted portion. He is putting a party and the accident together as a fact. Right, so the accident did happen. That's a fact. It's documented. It's before the party Noah attended, I think a few weeks before or so. But this so-called party, a different one, being tied together. Let's not forget, if there's anyone watching right now, you let me know in the live chat if you remember this. When it came to that Netflix documentary and Jan Fiorillo gave her thoughts on the matter, she did a Facebook post referring to Carter, Avery, Logan and Jack as the party host, and also saying how there was a party that did occur at the same house a weekend before. What Jan Fiorillo was claiming then, did that 1 week earlier party link with what's being supposedly mentioned here, as in with the accident of Carter Combs? Trying to get an idea, because from other perspectives, it was, I think, Caden Pressey that made a reference about at that party house, a party did take place, but it was 1 week after Noah's death. How many parties were going on, really? Let's focus in on the comment here by Justin. This is a screenshot within a screenshot, so as for the date of when it was done, I don't know. Is lacking context. Let's make that clear. Nevertheless, that's a separate charge as well, whatever that's about. I have talked to a few party goers that claimed the party host did buy alcohol as well as provided the location for the party for 4 days. That's social hosting, and it's clear as day. Each day could be its own charge as well. And then highlighted, a few weeks before Noah's death, there was a social hosting party with a very bad accident and nothing done about it. Imagine if something was done then, Noah, it continues on, would still be alive right now up to a certain point. That's the thing. Reality is, if action was taken sooner, whether it be a previous party which involved an accident or not, social hosting laws broken, underage drinking, if action was done, if it was reported then, Noah could still be alive up to a certain point, as long as parties don't occur when Noah's about an alcohol. But the thing is, some of the people that say that are some of the people that may have known about the party which Noah attended and saw some snaps or clips which could have suggested alcohol, or you could use common sense and associate, well, a beer pong table in the background, group of people together. It seems a little bit obvious that they're probably going to be drinking because of the age that they are and who they are. You could put one and one together. Accepting that, no problem until it's too late, but that same mentality likely was applied previously. However, if you look at it in between, and we haven't even got to the full truth yet, but hypothetically speaking, there was a previous party at some point. If an accident did occur at or during or later, near, on site or further away, and it stemmed back to alcohol or drinking by the driver, passengers or another passerby, another individual. Before it happened, you probably wouldn't have expected or known that it was going to occur, so you need to report the party. But as soon as that bad event supposedly happened, depending on the circumstances, could more have been done, not to prevent it, but to prevent any more onwards? You could argue and say, yeah, but then it also comes down to who knew about it, the accident, who did it concern of whom, and those linked or not linked to Noah Presgrove. But that's only if, hypothetically speaking, one and one added together, as in event, host, location, and accident. If this all occurred on the same highway as well in a short space of time, it can happen, of course, but then it just increases the theme, the feature of danger on a highway. Not a, but the highway, if you get what I'm saying. Let's just see what else is mentioned then. Justin had said, separate charge as well, social hosting. A few weeks before Noah's death, I was told. That's been highlighted by Pam. Why is that important? I was told. So Justin is wording this and that as if it did happen, but not that he saw it firsthand. He was told about it by another person. So it's like second or third hand information. So in fairness, if this turned out to be incorrect, Justin isn't the creator of the problem. It stems back to a previous individual that passed on false information to Justin, or a mistake. But the thing is, the reason why it's important to highlight, Justin, under those circumstances, whether it be here or a previous time, like with the Victor Presgrove situation and Noah calling as it was claimed and Victor not picking it up for Noah wanting a ride home and it turned out to be a load of BS, Justin was spreading that, but he didn't create it. He later said, well, I was given wrong information. Fair enough. So you, Justin, should know better for that and be more lenient towards other people at times who may say things, but it was what they were told by another person, just like how you were told by another individual, right? Second, third hand information. You should understand that and have that same level of understanding towards other people, but that doesn't show, does it? Obtuse mindset. Just thought I'd add that in. Beside that, imagine if something was done, Noah might still be here. Now that's actually appropriate wording by Justin for once. Might still be here. It's not a guarantee, but there's high chances. I said the inevitable, for as long as Noah attended parties and there was underage drinking, there could always be the chance of death. Not that at the time you would know that, but retrospectively you could suggest it because, like the Dylan Rounds case, and I know there's the odd person on Facebook that's very interested by my reference of Dylan Rounds. Well, if you check my channel out, if you're lurking in the background, you check my channel out, you'll be able to see why and the importance and the interest behind it. But the Dylan Rounds case, Dylan was on site at the property, the grain shed, his farm nearby, squatter Brenner, living on site at the grain shed property, Lucin, Utah. So if as long as Dylan spent around that time and with that person who's got a violent history, there was always that chance it could go wrong at some point. Unless you move away, get away, or they do first. It's the only way about it. What else? So that's what happens when people are allowed to break the law over and over. Someone eventually gets really hurt or killed. Sad but true. It's time for accountability of what happened to Noah that morning. So what Justin says here, eventually someone gets really hurt. And it's what happens when people are allowed to break the law. So are we saying that the Carter Combs accident, breaking the law, it was her fault? Because I'm sure there's a reference that she wasn't driving, she was a passenger. But, you know, if this is what Justin was suggesting about what happened to Carter, even though no direct mention was made as in who was involved in the accident, that was rather vague by Justin here. There was someone, a very bad accident, no location given here, but implies that it happened at the party. So it fits a certain narrative, just like how people fit the narrative of what happened to Noah occurred on site of the property. Just like how if you used to read this, it would imply the same thing, but we don't actually know where the location took place. But we will know when we check the official news report shortly. So that's the only problem with Justin at times. He's very vague. And with being very vague, you could just read it and associate it with a different location, which would suit more of a narrative for some people, but it wouldn't always be the truth. It's a bit of a messy situation, if I be honest with you. And how you read it here, it implies that the people hosting or creating the party, the same people that may have got involved in this accident, and that's what happens, you allow them to break the rules and people get hurt. Well, you could say, and as far as it wasn't mentioned, if people wanted to think dark, karma catched up because of the people hosting the party or living at the place where the party was being hosted, same people or the same person that got hurt after. So what do we learn from that exactly? But the whole accountability for what happened to Noah. So let's just say if Noah Presgrove did walk away from the party house, right? And whatever happened to him. Is it the other partygoers' responsibilities to go out and escort him like a bodyguard when simply going for a walk? Because of the whole being vulnerable and being drunk. I mean, did any other partygoers at any other point walk away from the house by themselves or what? Just trying to make sense of it. And then below, Pam, we might get to that later in the comments about Brenda leaving out 3 very important words. 3 words, what exactly? We'll see later. But right now, with a bit of a backstory there, let's see what Robbie had to say about the overall situation. 1 day ago, this was posted. You can find it on the case discussion group. In bold, Justin Roy is purposely misleading people about Carter Combs' accident to push a narrative that doesn't exist. He says, that's what I was told, and somehow that turns into a whole story tied to Noah. No facts, no sources, just rumours dressed up like truth. That's what I was told equals not a source. It also shows a slight lack of reinforced purpose. No names, no reports, no proof, takes unrelated events and links them anyway, builds a story off assumptions. And look, this is the thing, piecing things together. Is it done in a manipulative way? Piecing stuff together by accident or just by belief? And the reason why it's important, just like with the whole critical thinking aspect, which Robbie, the catalyst, was the individual that talked about it first on Facebook with some other people as well, is that there needs to be a bit of give and take. There's no harm in combining and comparing and linking events and factors together if there's a genuine reason. But for the others that don't do it for a genuine natural reason and it's done recklessly, some of them are the same people to have a go and bite others for theorising different perspectives. Once again, it's typical behaviour. I just thought I'd add that in as an observation. Here's what actually happened in that accident. Well, we'll get to that because I've actually got the website itself and you can see the link there. Beside that, but Justin takes, I was told someone got airlifted. Oh boy. And twist it into something it's not, then uses that to imply a bigger narrative around Noah's case. Were they really airlifted? Was it really that bad? That's not facts. That's not investigation. There's rumour stacking. And this is the part people really need to think about. For all you Justin Roy worshippers, this is who you believe. Someone whose source is literally, that's what I was told. In other words, from what was mentioned in the comment section, the source being, trust me, bro, and then fills in the gaps with assumptions and presents it like truth. If you actually care about Noah, start demanding real sources, real facts, not recycled gossip said confidently. Because this right here, this is exactly how misinformation spreads. And let's not ignore the irony. This same internet detective loves to label real people as fake profiles the second they disagree with him. That's not investigative work. That's deflection when the facts don't go your way. And I'm sure this will get run right back to Justin and the army page like always. Now go ahead, yeah, I'll report back that mean old folk Robbie called out the lies again. Well, with that all being said, what we do need to take a look at now was actually located further down into the comments section, and it was a video or a repost of a screen recording from audio played on a device, which was to do with Donna Bond, I believe, being interviewed by, was it Netflix producers or someone in regard to the Noah Presgrove case previously. It did its rounds previously. There was some audio that was analysed and looked into deep by some, and like Laura Dutton about the pink fluffy slippers of Avery at a highway and what Donna Bond supposedly said. Been points back and forth, and this time around the focus being which could link on to Justin Roy. Because as it's mentioned here, and as what Justin said, from what he was told, who told him, where did it come from, where's the beginning, the start, or at least a bit of a backstory before Justin, right? Justin may have shared it and it's wrong. Was it corrected though? Who knows? If it wasn't, that's unfortunate. Is it recent? Is it old? If it's more recent and it's been cleared previous, then why is it not being updated now? Different ways of looking at it. If it's something in the past, it could still been cleared up in the present by the same person that may have spread it, right? Just like how I give updates along the way or add in additional context when it is actually available compared to previous when it wasn't. What I'm trying to get at is what Justin was saying at a point, from what he was told, could link on by the being influenced by Donna Bond's audio, and hence why Pam shared it down below. Let's get an idea of it. Feel free to sit back and listen in to this clear audio by Donna Bond at a time of when she believed or told things which may have been corrected since. But just focus in on the audio and see what you can take from it.
Because I complained about that place because of other incidences that I told you about. The kids being followed home from out there, the accident that happened before Noah. And I feel like I didn't fight hard enough. I feel like if I would have pushed harder, this wouldn't have happened. And he would still be here. I didn't just insert myself into this for no reason. I didn't know Noah personally. I've seen him around when he was younger and here with his mother. My sister used to give his sister Madison a ride home from school when they lived up at the apartments. But he ran around with some of our kiddos from here. And I don't give a shit what any of these idiots that think they're fucking detectives think. That could have been any of these babies laying out there. That could have been Aiden. It could have been any of these kids.
What were the incidents that you? I mean, you don't have to go into detail, but when you say that there were incidents at that place, what do you mean?
A few weekends before, it might have been a little longer. I don't know the exact date. You'll have to go back and look at my Facebook page. It's the reason I'm on probation. Some kids went to a party out there.
At the same house?
Yes. Same place, same group of kids. I'm sure most of the same group of kids. I don't want to say that 100% certain, but, you know, I didn't have snap or chat pictures sent to me from that night. Mm-hmm. But a bunch of kids were out there partying, and a group of our kids from here went out there. And this idiot, Johnny Leahu, that was running around trying to be a digital creator up in law enforcement's face, up in everybody's face, acting a fool, kind of like Tribe Davison. Mm-hmm. He followed the kids back from out there and got them pinned up at the truck stop up here and was trying to get them to share his shit on his social media page. And he kept getting up in one young lady's face because of who her dad is. And he was trying to provoke law enforcement into a fight. Well, some of these men I know, and some of them I consider my friends. Now, the deputy that was involved, he's a pain in the ass, but, you know, he's a good man. I didn't like him at first. Hell, I didn't like the sheriff at first. Matter of fact, me and the sheriff almost got into it out here. Jerry shut the door and come in the house. Jeremy was looking at him for help. I nutted out on him too. But
you felt that because you knew that there were incidents at this house, that if you'd fought harder to...
No, it would still be here.
You feel guilty?
I do.
After listening to that, you can kind of understand and make sense of how one links to the other, as in the influence. What Donna Bond was talking about in that interview audio, whether it was what Justin heard firsthand by Donna previous, or at Donna's house, or if another person got a hold of Donna's audio recording, then passed it on to Justin and said, hey, have you listened to this? Donna mentions about the party, the house, the location, similar people, and so on. But it just adds more layer and depth. It adds more venom behind the push for social hosting and justice there. I'll make more sense of that shortly if you stick around. But it's a very interesting situation, I would say, because, you know, there's a lot to consider. So, first of all, what needs to be acknowledged is, from what was said in the comment section of Robbie's post, is that what Donna Bond said in that interview and some of the bits of information that was said by Donna is what she heard elsewhere, what people had told her to some extent, right? And that some mentions of an accident which involved Carter Combs, even though the name wasn't directly mentioned in that interview, that's indirectly who it was being referenced to also, supposedly. at mention of a protective order or probation, whatever it was called in the by Donna. I mean, that might link to the Carter Combs situation if a false claim was made, a mistake was made, but ultimately, supposedly mistakes were made. Donna received false information to an extent. When talking about it, wasn't aware at the time until later when it was a bit too late, some consequences in between. But then Donna apologised, made it clear, made corrections. They did their time, not like that as in getting arrested, but did their time as in been there, done that, experienced, made a mistake, apologised for it, moved on, but also apologised to the people involved, I guess Carter, the girls, Brooke, whoever else, and it was all fine and okay, and it's been okay since. So that serves as an example of what should be done by other people with time in some way, right? However, I want to analyse this, as in at the time, to understand the importance behind it all and why it was such a powerful influencing effect for someone like Justin with his mindset and belief within the case. So let's draw it back to what was said back then and what was deemed as the supposed truth. The mention of incidents, more than one. Now, what was described by Donna, what was suggested by Justin was one particular accident, and it was a really bad one. It supposedly involved Carter Combs, but that's an accident. What are the incidents? It wasn't made clear. But just know that the clip that Pam shared or reshared was only part of an interview. It wasn't the full piece. So there might have been more context afterwards, which talked about other stuff. But clear shows that the main focus by some drawn in was this particular point about the singular accident. If anyone wants to add in for context in regard to the incidents, whether it be lesser bad things or equal at the party or not at the party and it just happened around the time a few weeks before, feel free to drop it down below. But the mention of well, they say kids, that's because of the age, what they are, looking down upon people younger than them, but teenagers, young adults being followed out there as in being followed to the party or being followed from leaving the so-called party, and then the accident. So there is that. I made some little notes bit by bit in the order of what we listened to, and what we need to acknowledge right now actually serves and applies to what I've been analysing and doing separate videos on in recent time. There's not going to be a trigger warning because we're not getting that deep, but I'm focusing this on a psychological case study of Donna Bond, respectively at the time of that interview. You heard that she was upset, she was breaking down a little, but there was a weight, a feeling within internally, feeling of could have done more, should have done more, and if so, it would have led to less consequences. Looking back on it, punishing oneself being hard. In quotes, roughly, Donna had said, if I pushed harder, if I did more, Noah would still be here. What does that exactly mean, though? Indirectly, vaguely, is what Justin had said. If more was done then, if it was reported and people didn't get away with it, Noah could still be alive. I don't know if Justin took that extract from what Donna said or that's what Justin believes himself, but Donna specifically believed at the time that if she did more, reported it to police, whether it be the party, the accident, the link between them, or just a party by itself and there's alcohol, if that was shut down, if that was looked into and Donna pushed enough, then the next party which Noah would have attended, the final one, wouldn't have occurred and Noah would have still been alive. Well, the thing is, what Donna was going through at the time in terms of her thoughts, her feelings, she was demonstrating second-hand retrospective survivor's guilt, in which they weren't physically present at the event or the party, but mentally, psychologically speaking, they felt connected enough, as in knowledge about it, even if it was when it already happened, the knowledge of knowing, but not doing much about it or not doing enough. With knowing what happened to Noah Presgrove, weeks on, months on, with Donna learning about the Noah Presgrove case and so on, retrospectively looking back at the pieces to the puzzle, as in, beside the party that Noah attended, what happened a weekend or two before? There was a party, same house, same place, same people. Whether it involved Noah or not, there was an accident, supposedly at the time, under that belief. And that, whilst not there to witness it, knowing of it, not reporting it in. For Donna to not actually physically be there to witness the accident shows that she would have received some form of second or third-hand information about it and how it could have been falsely linked to a party, whether a party happened or not, but linking an accident, an event to that party, her being told about it, then later not doing anything about it because the feeling of there wouldn't be any need and the people that were involved in the accident wasn't to be Noah until later, weeks on, when what happened to Noah occurred, near or close to the party house, and alcohol and similar faces and presence being about. When Donna finds out about all of that, and like in that interview, retrospectively looking back in hindsight, a roadmap with all the information and the supposed knowledge of what happened where and why, and then the next lot of events which involved Noah. The backstory behind Noah before that, a different set of events, a different outcome, a bad one. Bad experience, alcohol involved, yes or no, but that belief at the time, feeling that the first set of events kind of triggered the next wave, as in, because nothing was done about it the first time round, the inevitable, it was going to repeat itself again for as long as there's a party, a similar location, similar faces, and if there's a presence of alcohol, it'll be the same outcome, but maybe for a different person, and actually possibly more fatal. Because what happened to Carter wasn't fatal, it could have been. What happened to Noah, whatever that cause of death was, it was fatal. So a person got lucky previous, the next person in line did not. When Donna weighs that all out at the time, it adds a psychological weight and strain, as in the belief of knowledge of what previously happened, not acting on it, and then later finding out about what happened to Noah and feeling to blame for it, as in should have done more with the information that they held at the time. But if it turned out that that information wasn't exactly correct and one event didn't link to a party, it was separate, it wouldn't have been Donna's fault. But at the time, when you believe in it and you think it to be a certain way, you may blame yourself. It's a normal psychological, biological response, a feeling of responsibility and not acting out on it. It is a form of survivor's guilt in which, secondhand, Donna wasn't there to survive the events, but, she was aware of things, but also witnessed the loss of someone in a way, someone that she partially knew. And if you feel like you could have done more to change the outcome, but you didn't, but you weren't to know at the time, you can't be blamed and you can't control all factors. It's easier to look back once it's already happened when it's too late, to reflect back on everything that happened, what went wrong, what went right. But what ultimately matters is how you react and what you can control in the moment. And what Donna could control and react in the moment wasn't that much because you weren't to know what was to happen next. If you knew the scale and magnitude of what was to happen next, you may have taken more action and done more. But if you didn't know, you simply didn't know. But of course, the form of survivor's guilt can eat some people up and it can be quite wearing. Now, let's just add on with some of their details now, in quotes. It could have been anyone who died out there. Right, so that's kind of adding on to the situation, I guess, with Noah, the highway, what Donna was saying. Could have been anyone. In a way, yeah, but we don't know the cause of death with Noah Presgrove. We don't know the true location of death and the true time of death. Noah may have been found on the highway in that spot, but did he ultimately die exactly in that spot? Was he killed? Was he struck? Was he hit directly in that spot? Bit of a mystery. Because of the cause of death ultimately being a bit of a mystery, an unknown and not officially noted down in the autopsy report, to say that it could have been anyone in Noah's position, debatable. Because if it's an accident, wrong place, wrong time, could be anyone. if it was planned, or if there was a form of murder or manslaughter, and it may have happened elsewhere, even if foul play involved, it becomes less about anyone and more about someone, a little bit more specific, because not everyone who may be involved in being on the receiving end of murder is going to be murdered. It can come down to a clash of personalities, actions, and behaviours. Not everyone all acts the same as one another, meaning everyone's different. So some people get on well with others, some do not. If Noah had clashed with anyone or vice versa, that could have been one of the reasons or factors motivating and leading to the death. If other people, if everyone was the same as Noah, then everyone could have been murdered. But not everyone's the same as one another. So I think there would have been the odd one out, person singled out, and that was Noah, unfortunately. It was Noah under those circumstances, but cause of death not ultimately clear on. So beside that, the reference to the accident, what Donna was getting at, a few weekends before, same house, same group of kids. So that's probably what Justin heard or saw himself previous, and that's what influenced him to make the post on Facebook with those comments from what he was told. And that was supposedly wrong information or misunderstood. But it stems back to previous people. But like Donna did say, I'm not absolutely sure about all the same groups of kids. So there's a slight level of uncertainty. That's what's got to be made clear. Mention of a social media influencer or some social media guy around the place or nearby had been provoking Ellie and was following the people in the car nearby truck stop, and then kind of harassing a girl specifically from the party. A girl, is this all to do with Carter Combs? Is this to do with being harassed, being followed, trying to run away, being on the run, being chased down, harassed, and being chased to the point where they're not looking where they're going and they end up getting hit or crashed by someone or something? Well, we'll see what the official news report says. It is vague, let's make that clear, but let's just get an idea of the location where it took place. But before we do that, there seems to be a possible chain reaction. What Justin says may be wrong, but from what he was told by someone, and then maybe someone who passed it on to Justin about Donna's interview, for example, so then it would mean it falls onto Donna's hands. What was said was wrong, but she apologised and made corrections. Okay, but ultimately, the main problem is, where did it come from before Donna? You see? Justin, Donna, and who was before that? It's like a timeline. It's a food chain. And like when Justin and then that other prat on YouTube, the one that wears the baseball cap back to front or something, whines on, round face, they go on about, oh, you're doing this and you're doing that and that's wrong, that's misinformation, oh, I'm going to punish you. Refer back to the Hydra, the head of the dragon, head of the serpent, head of the snake, head of whatever you want to call it, right? You got to look back at the origins. You've got to look back at the original source. I'm sorry, I'm getting very close, but people need to understand. I'm not bowing. People bow down to me. Shh. Anyway, I'm messing about. But look, reality is, and it should be common sense in a way, if there's a food chain and there's a hierarchy of where it came from and it's being drip fed, it may be misinformation, what Justin may have said, what Donna may have said, misinformation. But what about disinformation? Was there any of that before, earlier on, by the hands of others? It's okay saying you were told this and you were told that, or from what you were told and there was rumours and gossip. Who started it? Where did it come from? Who was it by? Why was it done? Was it done with intent or not? Are they related to the party? Are they a complete stranger? What made them think that was the truth? What made them say that to such as Donna? Okay? Instead of looking at the latter people, look at the earlier ones, the originator, the causation, the turning point behind it all. And they don't seem to get acknowledged. Just seems to be ghosts or random people, unnamed people in the background. But they're ultimately the ones that started it all off, right? And where are they? Why are they not labelled, named, or mentioned, or acknowledged? And why did they not come forwards either? You can look at the familiar faces and familiar names within this case community, but what about the people before that? Because there was something before that for the information to carry over, even if it's wrong. If anyone knows, maybe leave a comment down below. But beside that, what we should do now is head on over to that news report for clarity. This website, KSWO News, titled "One Person Hospitalised After Jefferson County Car Crash." Now it is brief, by Kyle and Justin Allen Rose, published August 14th, 2023 at 10:05 a.m. in the morning time. That's really early on. So this whole supposed link of a party, leaving the party late, drinking through the day, whatever, doesn't seem to be the case there. This is early in the morning, and you wouldn't be leaving a party probably around that time. You'd be either earlier or much later on. But just focus on the date, August 14th, 2023. It'll make more sense shortly, but just remember that. Terrell, Oklahoma. One person, which was Carter Combs, name not mentioned here, is in a Texas hospital this morning after a three-car collision in Jefferson County. Police say a car was attempting a left-hand turn from the US 81 highway just north of Terrell when it was rear-ended by a truck and pushed into the southbound lane. The car was then struck from the side by a second truck. The passenger of the car was flown to Denton, Texas, and admitted in stable condition with head and chest injuries. The other people involved were treated and released. Right. Well, it does say flown, so the mention of airlifted, what Justin said, appears to be true, from the looks of it, at least. Shows a level of severity, but it's also down to accessibility, racing against time, the practicality of it as well. So, because it says passenger, it implies that Carter wasn't driving, someone else was, right? Do we have anything else? No, I said it's very brief and vague, this. However, based on that date, let's just head on over to a Facebook post. This is the photo I wanted to share with you and the date as well. This appears to link to the after effects of the accident, which involved Carter Combs, the passenger of that vehicle, which maybe indirectly is what Donna Bond was referring to as well. The 14th of August 2023. When you look bottom left corner of this post, this is the 14th of August. Let me zoom in just for a second. Can you see? I hope it does show on camera. So yeah. Bottom left, 14th of August 2023, right? You can clearly see she's in a hospital with the things applied to the chest area. It was mentioned that there was chest or head injury, so they were checking her over, seeing if she was okay. Could have been much worse. Couldn't see the comment section though, which was a bit unusual because previously it did show. I think it was along the lines of maybe Brooke Bounds Carter saying, thank God that you're safe and okay. It could have been much worse. Now, as for who's who, left is Carter Combs, as you see there. On the right is Josie Martin, hence why bottom left corner it says Josie Martin, because it was her Facebook profile that made this post and a photo was taken, possibly a selfie, maybe front-facing camera. Now, Josie Martin on the right, not to be mixed up with Robbie Taylor, as what Jan Fiorillo was claiming at one point as a non-disclosure agreement thing and test with people in the background. Josie Martin is separate to Robbie Taylor, and Josie isn't linked to the party or the party house involving Noah Presgrove's death, but it is a person who is a friend of a friend, a family of a family member, to which some people would call the dark side, right? Friends of friends, connections, and normal stuff like that, and hence why Josie Martin's present here. But look, you can see the hospital, the layout in the background. Damage report isn't quite visible here. No expert, I know I call myself Dr. Raff, but you can see the neck area, there's a bit of bruising. I could be wrong, it looked like bruising at the time, upper chest area. there's a bit of, oh God, get that. Can you see on the side of the nose, there's a speckle of blood, possibly, like a slight cut or a graze. Just underneath the eyelid area, you can see a bit more blood there, or scratches, impact. And then marking on the forehead area, and then possibly a black eye on our right side. But for her, it would be her left eye appears to be all bruised around the area, just underneath and in the corner of the eye part too. Considering what the accident was described like, being hit by the back of a truck, which is pretty significant, and then being hit in the side by a truck, depending on which side it hit them, on the passenger side or driver's side, it could have been fatal. So Carter got lucky there. But her phone supposedly wasn't lucky. So the news report, what we just saw, 14th of August, the after effects in hospital, as you see here, 14th of August, is all to do with the mention of a few weeks before the party Noah died at or near, in which Carter, her phone, original one, was damaged and smashed beyond repair because it was on her during this car accident. So she had to get a brand new phone and supposedly didn't have time or didn't bother to put in the contact details, phone numbers of other people and, transfer the stuff over. Realistically, you wouldn't be able to transfer over a normal way because if your previous phone device is beyond repair, broken and damaged, everything within the files and stuff could be corrupted and lost, and SIM card and anything like that gone. So you probably wouldn't be able to transfer over. You'd have to start fresh again completely and even possibly enter in phone numbers manually. It being a few weeks just before the party that Noah attended, maybe they didn't have time or they couldn't be bothered. So when whoever saw Carter's phone and thought it was quite blank and empty, assumed that, it was factory reset. But if it's a brand new phone, it's a brand new phone. It's the equivalent of Noah Presgrove on the Friday, which I think is the 1st of September 2023, getting his brand new phone. Brand new, meaning if you didn't know it was brand new and you looked at it and thought, oh, well, where's all your previous stuff on? Have you factory resetted your phone, Noah? No, it's a brand new phone. So why can't that be the same with Carter Combs then? Oh, because Carter isn't the victim and Carter is one of the supposed hosts. So you can't be excusing or looking at it from that perspective like how you could with Noah. That's me channeling the monologue of other people out there and their viewpoints, right? But look, we got the date here, we got the photo as well. And look, people could say, oh, this has been doctored. This has been edited to fit a false narrative. No, you look at the raw original post. This was back then, 14th of August. This isn't some fake overlay. This is the date of when it was posted and I guess maybe took and then done on Facebook, right? And this was way before Noah's death. I've actually gone back to this outdated, arguably irrelevant photo to Noah's death to use for today because it's key material which wouldn't normally be used. But it got me thinking. You remember Avery and her TikTok compilation video of 2023 and maybe before? It wasn't all from the party, like that ginger cowboy and someone on the ginger cowboy on top of a girl dancing or something, rodeo. That wasn't at the party, it was at a separate one, and so were other things, random clips all compiled together as like a year in review of what was done and fun memories. But some clips were from the party house, whether it be at the party that Noah attended or a separate one. There was one particular little clip or photo which stood out to me, as in there was an injury which Carter had, and I'm just wondering if it links around the same time. Do you remember this one? You've got Jack Newton on the left, in the middle Carter Combs, and then on the right I think that is Avery. Where are they at? They appear to be in a room, possibly a bedroom. The party house at the time? Who knows? Any date given? No. But dating it, you can base it on what's visually present. What can you see which could give a possible estimated date? It may be just a coincidence, but you look at Carter Combs, look at what's under her eye. A bit of a black eye. Clearly, visible damage. Impact to the area under or near the orbital bone. A form of impact trauma causing burst blood vessels and bruising to rise to the surface of the skin, hence the colouring quite dark and patchy. It might just be a coincidence. This could be caused by something else. But that is Carter's left eye. Returning back to that hospital photo, whilst at hospital before it all set in, because, you know, you get injured, you get hurt. Not everything is visible immediately. You get a knock to the face, the head, or somewhere on your body. It may not bruise immediately. It might bruise a few hours later, a few days later. That could have been the case with Carter. And just based on my opinion, her left eye does appear a bit dark in the corner and underneath. And obviously there's a bit of marking on her nose as well. So I'm just wondering, that possible bruised left eye links to this photo here, where it's become a bit more known. There's a few speckles on the left side of the nose as well. If that's the case, that would mean that this clip of them, maybe at the party house, was on the 14th of August or onwards, but before probably September 1st. In between August up to end of August, right? 14th of August, maybe the 16th, the 17th, the 20th of August onwards, just based on that one injury. So this is how links can be made and done appropriately. Whether I'm right or wrong, this is like the process that more people should take. Look for the visual cues. Okay, you might not have all the information, you might not have all the facts, you might not have all the sources, but let's use what we've got. This on the day of the accident, post-event, recovery, this possibly linking on. Why is it important though? Because it shows it's before Noah's death, it's a separate thing, but it follows a certain order and pattern, and it can tie in and reinforce with the situation of Carter's phone, which was then brought into the discussions of the party and the idea of foul play being involved, which when you look at the accident and the damage report there, a damaged phone is very possible. A replacement phone would be likely. Factory reset, it's not been factory reset, it's just brand new. And it's not been edited or filled in, personalised because the person couldn't be bothered. That's always a possibility. So, yeah, you let me know your thoughts, reactions to it. I guess what we should do now is just have a quick look at the comments section on Facebook. I've got it adjusted to all comments so we can see most of them, at least. I'm not probably going to read out every single one, just the ones that stand out. When was the Facebook portion of the image in this post posted on the Army page? Of course, I don't have access to the Army page because it was blocked in the past when a false claim was made about me attacking the Army page with the Melissa LaQuay situation, even though I never said anything. It was actually what people on Reddit said. And then Justin used a half-arsed screenshot of a transcript from YouTube, which he couldn't even be bothered to look at the full context. I provided it after. No apology, nothing, incompetence. Thought I'd just add that in, just for context, clarity. So I wouldn't know about the Army page, the dates of it all. But still, it's all important to talk about if it's not being fully cleared up. Andrew Jubrov, seriously, what is it nefarious to that guy? These people are paranoid, always making connections that don't exist in reality. Pam, I'll take ownership regarding my comment in response to his. I didn't realise until seeing your post that he was talking about Carter's accident. Yes, because of being vague as what Justin did and has done before. But then again, what Donna said supposedly was vague at the time. No clear mention in that specific clip. Let me just be honest. That specific clip, what we listened to, it wasn't made clear of Carter. It may have been further on in the interview or earlier on, but I'm just basing it off one clip. And that news report didn't mention Carter's name either, but checking the dates and what's been said, it all checks out in the end. Pam said, I asked questions, you posted my comment, thinking it was an accident no one knew about. He didn't answer my question, so I'm just now getting the other side. So my apologies, I wasn't trying. Okay. There's quite a few responses, so we'll just try and zoom past it if need be. Oh my goodness. Some screenshots which we did use earlier on, so we don't need to click on again. That is why I try to take the time to clarify and ask questions. Well, if you take your time and clarify to ask questions, why did you not do that, Pam, when it came to the videos that I did in the past and somehow managed to take out of context, managed to not acknowledge the concept of a clear disclaimer in my videos when doing something, false claims on top of Jan with forms of, bestiality. Let's not forget about that. It's all documented previously. Absolutely ridiculous the way some humans are, treated a space hopper, a blow-up space hopper, as a real horse. What is going on there? That is still not been updated since either. Strange, isn't it? But I thought I'd just mention that because my memory is still there. Beside that, I'm not here to spread rumours, just to help the family get answers so they can move forward. Your posts the last 2 days reiterate that we all need to do our homework. Yes, Justin Roy said he heard it, which implies it's a rumour, but if no one looks into it, then we're guilty of spreading a rumour as well. I feel Justin Roy has tried to be a passionate advocate for avocados. I mean advocate because he truly cares about Noah. I think he means well, but doesn't always have the best delivery. That's a bit of an understatement, Pam. These pages are for discussion of the case. I'm not okay with it. On the other side, maybe he admitted some details to stay clear of everyone screaming defamation, so being vague to protect himself. A double-edged sword, that, to be honest. Robbie, Pam, you're smarter than that. My guess is if you believed he was being manipulative, you wouldn't admit it here anyway. I've seen a lot of implied threats towards Justin regarding lawsuits for his involvement in spreading misinformation. Well, Pam, there's also been quite a few mentions of Justin Roy threatening the other way around as well. Just because they don't understand language and wording. Just because they don't understand the process behind it all, but jump into conclusions. Pam might need to do some research again. Okay? Let's just skip this. No, but again, Justin Roy and I are very different people. Well, you are. Justin's a male, Pam's a female. Wow! Anyway, what else do we have? I call BS to lie by omission. The first comment is stated as a fact. His response to the first question asked supports it being stated as a fact. Okay, we've seen that one before. We saw that one too. His comments weren't edited. It goes into the weird editing back and forth stuff. We don't really need to go on about that. It's all over the place. Comment history. As he tries to protect him, his own words are right there. If his post now has the 3 words, then he edited it to add them since they weren't there at least this morning when I saw the screenshot. Oh, what? So something has been edited since. It's the whole just my opinion thing. I was told. Wait, so was it originally not I was told and then it was? That's to do with Brenda then. Opinion or not, it comes down to the delivery then. And look, thing is, if it's recent time, mistakes have been made in the past, but some humans haven't learned from that, have they? So that's another thing to acknowledge. Sherry to Pam, you were trying to defend Justin and thought that Brenda left out 3 important words and thought that was an issue. You now figured out that it was Justin Roy that edited and now that's okay with you. It makes you look like a fool. I'm sorry for saying that, but trying to defend his actions, then this happens. It doesn't look good on you. Right, so we've got a lot of question marks and stuff. That's the Donna Bond clip there. Sherry to Pam, did you not accuse Brenda of leaving important words? Then you realise, okay, how can you have an issue believing Brenda did something but felt it's fine? It was Justin that did it. Makes me, okay. The difference between Donna Bond and Justin is she was a woman enough to stand up and admit that she was wrong and apologised. I guess from that audio clip. You don't see him ever admitting when he is wrong. He continues to lie. She also made it right between the girls and their mother, and they're the ones that matter. So it was all cleared up in the end. If they can forgive her, then what's the issue? What exactly did he do to correct it? Was it when he said, I was told? That's not making it right. Do you think lying about the kids is making it right? Do you think it's right when the family has to hold them back off and double down? What's going on with you, Pam? All of a sudden you're back in the army group and yes, you're defending him. Will you do the same for Michael Faye's Kaz? To be honest, I just thought some humans are consistently a certain way. Maybe I see or pick up on more. What accident occurred? I asked, but no one answered. Let's just have a quick look here. Oh goodness, a bit long. A lot of responses. Oh, we got Brooke as well. Brooke, Carter was of the connected party. Connected party, as in a party of people, a group in the wreck, and Carter was the one that was injured. Is that what you mean, Brooke? Or when you say connected party, you mean Carter was associated with a group of people that were partying or coming from a party? Just clear that up. The wreck wasn't her fault and had absolutely nothing to do with partying or Noah's case. Right, so the term party can mean a group of people partying, a group of people hanging out, drinking, all that. But the latter term wasn't the case, and it wasn't to do with Noah either, because obviously it was much earlier on. Okay. It wasn't her fault. She was a passenger, from how it was mentioned. Latch onto anything. Oh yeah, Sherry, hopefully the live chat does show and is saved. Let me know if it's okay and working, because remember, it was brought up. Denise, why would he even bring it up down? I'm sorry, but it's just wrong on so many different levels. I know why it was brought up or why it could have been. Yes, ma'am, you won't get answers there, or truthful ones anyways. They thrive off lies and rumours. That's to mention to the army page, supposedly. So some people have got booted from the army page since. Happening from the beginning. You couldn't suggest any theories other than foul play or murder at all, because you would end up getting blocked or attacked. Booted club. Fake profiles, bingo card, and all of that. Jerry says Justin and the other page can kiss some big ass. What's the other page, though, exactly? Beside the army one. Another thing I want to point out, Justin keeps saying if earlier parties had been shut down, Noah wouldn't have died. But what he conveniently leaves out is he was literally watching the party happen on Snapchat and still didn't report it, the one which Noah went to. And he wasn't the only adult who knew. Alicia, Caden Press's mom, knew the party was going on, the one Noah attended. She even went and picked up her niece and still didn't report it. So we're going to use that logic, then it goes both ways. If Justin or Alicia had reported the party that night, Noah could have been alive. Strong words, but, common sense and the mentalities, I get that. You don't get to blame everyone else for not stopping something when you had the same opportunity to do so, but you didn't act. Push down the... Oh, no. Well, got some comments there. If I was around and knew the party were going, I wouldn't have reported it either, but I could say the guilt of not doing it would eat me alive. That's understandable. That's what Donna Bond was kind of experiencing in a way from what we analysed earlier, from a survivor's guilt in a way. It's similar like with Caden Pressey when he turned Noah down for a ride home because Caden was, under the influence of alcohol. Was okay with it at the time. Noah said, it's fine, it's okay. But then after reflection, post-death of Noah, looking back what could have been done differently, and Ken says, I wish I could have helped, it eats me up inside. It's understandable, it's a normal human behaviour to reflect back. When you reflect back, you're going to be much harder on yourself than what you would have been in the present, in the moment, when you weren't to know what was to come next. It's just what happens. There's not much you could have done. Right. That's no joke. I was awful when I was younger. As for me, I don't drink alcohol. I've never been drunk either. Then again, I think lemonade used to make me hyper enough. Lemonade. I'm pretty sure... Okay, we're back to that one again. Oh no. I'm not going to read these out because it's only going to summon someone, but you see it on screen. Denise. He was also watching from Snapchat. They were playing beer pong, but he claims he didn't know what they were doing or drinking. I don't understand that. You have red solo cups set up playing beer pong and you don't know what it is they're doing. I guess playing dumb, right? She knew she was there at 10:30. Alicia goes, picks up underage niece because she's drunk. Doesn't think to report it. Yeah. Interesting. Is that it? Of the comments, or is there more? Justin is the biggest gossip little queen I've seen, says Mike. There was a party at the house on the same day Carter's... Well, Brooke said it wasn't to do with a party. I don't know if there's any additional response. There we go. We might as well acknowledge it whilst we're here. Brooke said, no, ma'am, they were with Carter in the hospital. So, yeah. Robbie, I see Brooke says there was not. I think the actual issue there is Justin implying there was an accident because of a party at the house, which is absolutely not true. Separate things, right? Right. Okay. Oh, and there's Brooke. So thankful Carter was okay. Thank you for defending the truth always. Also to know this was the wreck her phone was shattered in. Hence why she had a new phone. Well, there we go. That's all circled round now. Upon reflection, the whole importance behind the what if it was linked to a party? Even though it wasn't, why would it be of some people's interest, hypothetically speaking? Because it would highlight that a party caused an accident, caused chaos, and it could have been fatal. And then a few weeks later, Noah at a party, same place, same people, another accident, but much worse. And if you wanted to include the rollover, the side-by-side too, earlier, another accident. The more times it happens, and in a short space of time, it implies that either it's a death trap, it's a dangerous area, or due to certain repetitive actions and behaviour and no changes done about it, it leads to another consequence, followed by another one and another one. And eventually, the more times it happens, the higher the chances that on one of the times, it's going to be fatal. And for Noah, it was. But look, we don't know the true cause of death with Noah, so you can't directly link it with the Carter Combs situation. But the mention of it being on the highway so far down, going into the southbound lane, so south towards Terrell, north of Terrell, on the east side lane, going north wherever to, attempting to make a left turn, which must have been much further up, maybe near or past Ryan, because before that, there's, from what I can remember, there's not really any left turns. Most of them are on the right, and they're like the back roads. There could be one left turn, which then goes over to Texas across the Red River. As I said, I'm doing this blindly on the spot, but much further away. However, it's a highway. Things can happen, like motorways and anywhere really, but the more times it happens, the more known it becomes as a bit of an unsafe place, depending on the circumstance. But you can't compare what happened to Carter to what happened to Noah. It's separate things. Similar location, but separate things. Party, as it was mentioned, party did not cause the accident with Carter, but did a party take place on that day which they attended earlier or later? If that can be fully clarified down below, that'd be appreciated. But look, the reason why hypothetically it would suit people's narrative if it was true, or what people believed and pushed, is because the more bad things that happen and the more it supposedly links back to a party with underage drinking, the greater the push for social hosting laws being followed up on. Because it's already led to one outcome, it could happen again. It did with Noah, supposedly. It could happen again and again and again. If nothing's done, more people are going to get hurt. Who knows who next? If it was along that line and pattern, it really does hammer down the idea of social hosting, repercussions to petition, signing it, getting justice, getting people to pay the price. If it's the same place, the same people, the same groups, the same host, they should be responsible for two lots of issues then. Under that hypothetical situation, which some believed it was to be. So with what Justin Roy said, he was influenced by what another person told him. Did Justin question it enough or not because it suited his narrative and idea, as in Noah, it suits this situation right now, so stick with it and not question it too much, because if it is convinced or made to be that way, that party links with Carter's accident, then it actually boosts a narrative and pushes it more, even if it is unnatural. Separate events, but look, we'll come to a bit of a conclusion today, bit of a timeline as well, a few additional photos which I've provided, which other people haven't bothered to research on, probably because there was no real need, but you know, just to back up a little bit more visually. There we go. Still other videos to do, more specifically on the party, the location and all of that, but I just wanted to tie up some loose ends here and just keep on top of everything so I don't get left behind. I hope that you found the video somewhat interesting, and if you enjoyed it, shout out to those that have watched and still do, and you know, people that engage with the live chat, leaving comments and anything else, it's all appreciated. And in recent time and over the last month or so, seen that, you know, that presence of people in different ones and in the background, it's good to see, and it just adds extra atmosphere to the surrounding area, and during the live premieres it's worth it, and it just adds a lot of value, so that's appreciated. If you'd like to hit the thumbs up and share this video, and if you're on mobile tablet device, maybe try and hype the video just to get out there, to spread this awareness of what's gone down in recent time and what the reality is. That all being said, my name's Wyatt Ref. Thanks for watching, goodbye, and good night for now.